and maybe giving me a blue jay.
There we go. I have that all on film. That's good. Hey, rough them up a little bit. Come on.
I'd like that.
Hey, welcome to it, everyone. This is Shooting the Bull with Brock and Dwight, or as I like to call it, you don't conspiracy. Very nice. Of course, I am your host, Brock. Joining me, as always, is Dwight, a.k.a. the world's strongest plumber, and we are jumping off from where we were last week. Obviously, the big news was the spy balloons, the Chinese spy balloons all over North America. They're taking over. They're getting information on us. It's Xanadu. Here comes the Chinese and China. We're in trouble. Huge balloons. I think that's racist. Is that racist? That's
Was that cultural appropriation?
Cultural appropriation. That's what it is. So, okay, let's just get right into it, Dwight, because here we are. Everyone's losing their minds. We're seeing balloons all over the skies, but it's not at all what the media made it out to be. Why don't you just take off with like the balloon? Why don't you take off from where we were and your proven theory on this and what exactly these balloons in the sky were? Yes.
Once again, I was proven right. What these balloons were. The Lake Huron balloon, this is what it was. And we called it, hey, it could be just a weather balloon. Or some guy's like project, right?
Yeah. Little Timmy's birthday, and little Timmy let go of the balloon, and oh no, there goes my balloon. And the government comes in and shoots the thing down with the F-16.
Overkill. Like, just check it out.
Like Arnold with the minigun, just from the side of a helicopter. We went a little
Predator.
crazy. Yes, from Predator. Exactly. It's that scene from Predator. However, instead, it's at a fucking weather balloon that is not at all something we should be concerned about. Again,
going back to how incompetent are these people? What are they doing? So this came out to this all came out that it turned out to be a bunch of like 40-year-old virgins, a bunch of dorks down in like Northern Illinois that had a club. It was like a weather balloon club.
Yeah.
And they all of a sudden lost contact with it at the exact same time that they shot down this other balloon. And I mean, I don't want to call them dorks because it's kind of a cool thing that they're doing, right? They could be doing a lot worse stuff. But you shot down some guy's weather balloon.
You got Jim as part of the Illinois Flyboys and the Illinois Flyboy weathermen, and all of a sudden the government comes in and freak out and unload on this thing. And actually, you have the numbers. You told me you have the numbers of what this cost taxpayers to shoot down this quote unquote spy balloon, which is actually just a weather balloon from some locals.
Yeah, and what if you wanted like do the math on it too? Per jet, 4 jets, just the jets. We're talking just the F-16s.
Yeah.
Just the F-16s. $24,000 an hour each jet. Okay. The total cost, the total bill for the AWACS, the tanker, the 4 F-16s, the 2 AIM-9X Block 2s that were shot, right? One missed. $1.9 million the taxpayers paid to shoot down to shoot down some poor bastard's weather balloon that, like, you should have seen the picture. There was like a group picture of these guys, all lined up. And they're also proud. They're like holding weather balloons. They're like, yeah, this is great,
Not a female in sight. Just some guys that are spending their Saturdays. And we spent $1.2 million in taxpayer money to shoot this thing down.
And the last time they probably saw a woman's vagina was at their birth. So, I hate to make fun of these guys, but it's
probably nice fellas. But we're a spade. All right, we're calling a spade here. So, okay. Well, now that we have made it very clear, and everyone now is privy to what exactly these were, I think we can dive into. Because we could spend all day about the incompetence and why exactly the government was this a show of power to maybe do some posturing, some flexing of our government muscle to say, oh, hey, if you want it right, like the world's strongest plumber would do at the gym in front of the mirror, Why
For the
did
16-year-olds.
why would we go this big on it? Why would the government react in this way?
Incompetence.
Is that all it is? Yeah.
It's incompetence. It's incompetence. They don't. I wouldn't trust these people to build me a doghouse. I really wouldn't. And you're going to trust these people with your national security?
Yeah.
They're morons, Brock. I've been saying this for a long time. Dude, the jig is up. The Matrix. And again, I was one of the first guys talking about how stuff is like the Matrix, right? And then just people kind of came behind me and made it popular. But not that I'm saying that I made it. I was the first guy to do it. But I was saying, dude, we live in a Matrix, man. Like, you think these people are competent. They're not.
Yeah.
So, dude, it's just incompetence. Straight up. They wanted to, like, prove something. They wanted to show that they were going to do something. And they did something, all right. It's just
at the cost of the taxpayers' time. Yeah, it's
exactly.
not our fault.
Well, it's always that, though, right? It's always at the cost of you and me. It's always what it is. It's never. None of these people ever get fired, right? This Pete butt gig, butt plug, whatever his name, Buttigieg, dude, that guy should be the first guy to be fired, right?
Yeah.
In that administration. I mean, he's totally incompetent beyond incompetence. He's hired because of what, you know. Again, it's like, it's based on diversity, right? It's not based on competency. And that's what we're running into, is we're running into these situations where we just don't have the competent people in place.
I think that's, we should put a pin in that, because I think that's another great discussion for Shooting the Bull with Brock and Dwight, is term limits, the government, who's in there and everything. But let's move on from that, because that's a whole nother episode. Now let's talk about, so we've made it very clear that these balloons were nothing to be worried about. The Chinese government is probably laughing their ass off. They put out a statement saying, oh, we're mad about this, even though they fucking knew that it wasn't anything of theirs. They're having some fun with it. But now, though, there's still stuff in the sky. And this is what we kind of ended on last podcast was, okay, yeah, these weren't anything but technology that is there, the things that are in the sky. And you have some firsthand knowledge just with people that you know. And again, we're not never saying we're experts in the field, but from what you have gathered, I have gathered, and we have seen, let's talk about the technology that is there. As again, an everyman, a thinking human, I may say, oh yeah, there's got to be stuff all over the skies, right? There's things going on. We got this and we got that. The government's doing this. I guess from you and your take on this, your expertise for what it is, what is up there that maybe is pause for thought or concern, if anything, in the skies?
Well, when you talk about concern, I mean, how do you start that one off, right? How do you open that Pandora's box? Because concern, am I concerned about it? Here's how I want to explain it to you and everybody out there. Okay. And this, again, Lou Elizondo explained it this way. He was perfect, dead on about saying this. Is that if you locked all your doors at night, but every morning you woke up and you saw muddy footprints on your carpet, but nothing was missing, nothing was harmed, nothing was touched, would you consider that a threat? And because that's what we're dealing with. This stuff is coming and going at will, and we're powerless to stop it. Is that a threat? Right? Good question.
Yeah.
Well, so it being concerning, right? It's concerning. I would say it's more concerning on the human side of things. It's more concerning to me about how we're reacting to it. And by we, I mean our government. That's
the incompetent people that we have obviously seen use their incompetence to shoot down a $14 weather balloon. There's, in your opinion, though, there is stuff that could cause concern more on how we react to it in real time and who is in charge of addressing the other things that aren't $14 weather balloons. Is that fair to say?
Right. And here's the thing, Brock. It's that they know about these things. The government, the military, the military for sure knows about these things. If you want to take the Nimitz incident that happened in 2004, or you want to talk the East Coast incident that happened, I think it was 2014. The military knows about these things.
Let's talk about the one in 2004, because I think that was one of the things we touched on and we wanted to save for this. So 2004, talk about that incident for people that don't know and what exactly that means as far as information we've gathered.
Correct. So I'm going to give you kind of the cliff notes of it because it's quite the story. So it was 2004. I believe it was October. They were doing workups off the coast of San Diego. This is about 80 miles off the coast. Okay. Doing workups to go to war. And one of the guys involved was Commander David Fravor. And the guy was the best. He's the best of the best. Probably one of the best at the time, probably the best fighter pilot on the planet. I mean, the guy was Top Gun. He was the man.
Hold on. So now when you say go to war, now this is the fallout from 9/11?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So they were doing some workups to go over there and do their thing. The Nimitz is an aircraft carrier. So it's the Nimitz class. It's huge. And then I believe it was the Princeton was a destroyer that was sent out with it as well. So, I mean, again, you talk about packages. They send out packages. This is a package that they send out to do war games. So what they did was they launched the Marines. So the Marines had pilots too on the aircraft carriers, and then they sent out the Navy pilots. And Commander David Fravor was the Navy pilot. So it's 2 and 2. The Marine and the wingman, and then you have a Navy Commander David Fravor and his wingman. Okay. And his wingman was a woman pilot. So basically, she like curb rashed all the wheels on the plane, and then the thing probably went out without any gas. So
I got everything that you said. Right, that's hilarious. She asked for directions on the way. That's what it was.
Yeah. Anyway, will I get canceled? Okay, we'll talk about that.
You'll be all right.
Should we edit that out? Okay.
Yeah,
so
redacted.
Anyway, so first they send out the Marines. The Marines go out and they're going to go to what they call a cat point. The cat point's going to be where they actually engage each other, have their war games, right? The Princeton is basically running radar for everybody and kind of directing traffic a little bit, right? And there was he was a head radar guy on that, and I actually saw some things on him too, and what he was saying about the same incident. And he seems, extremely competent. I mean, again, too, you look at the other side of this stuff in the military. Some of these guys, man, it's the best of the best. They have the best training, right? This is what they're good at. This is what the government's good at. It's the military, blowing stuff up and wrecking shit, right? When you're not pigeon-toed to not do that. So they send up the Marines. They go to their cat point. Commander Fravor and his wingman, they take off. And they're about to go engage with these guys when they get called off. And basically what happened was it was a real world vector that got called, and they asked him, "Hey, what do you got on? What are your ordnance?" And he's kind of laughed. He's like, it's a fake X9 or I'm sorry, AIM 9X. So it's exactly what they shot. It's a Sidewinder. But it's fake because they don't go out with live ordinances for this stuff because somebody presses the wrong button, somebody gets shot down. It happens all the time. Yeah. So it's a fake weapon. So they're unarmed. So they asked them to go check this stuff out anyway. And what this stuff was, this is what's kind of creepy, is that they knew about this stuff out there. And what they're seeing on their radar, and again, their radars got updated. So now they're seeing more and more and more of this stuff. So the Princeton's calling out, hey, there's 12 of these things that are just flying in and out at will, at random. They're coming from 80,000 feet. 80,000 feet. That's almost outer space.
Well, you think about the average commercial airplane is what, 35,000?
30 to 40, can probably go 40.
So now let's double that. And this is where this stuff is coming from, what they're seeing.
Right. I mean, what did the SR-72 do? Or SR-71, what did that go 75,000 feet? And they had a spacesuit, right?
Yeah.
That was a jet still. So, but these things were going from 80,000 feet to 20,000 feet in less than a second. And how they gauge that was the radar could detect, and basically it runs in a pattern, and the pattern run is about a second. So these things were going from 80,000 feet down to 20,000 feet. Sometimes they were going from 80,000 feet down to 1 foot off the water within less than a second, instantaneously. So they just wanted to see what these things were. And this was kind of a little bit south. So now they have to be redirected a little bit south off the coast of Mexico. Okay. So they get sent. And what they encounter is basically hits Fravor and his wingman, and they're kind of like got a God's eye view on everything. And what they're looking at, what they first see, is basically what he says is the shape of a 747 submerged in the water, about 10 feet. So waves, how they see it is waves are breaking over the top of it. It's a cross. So something's in the water. And then they see the Tic Tac. And that's what everybody knows about. They know about the Tic Tac. And the Tic Tac was doing what, for lack of a better term, if you took a cup, put a ping pong ball in it, and just shook it up, and it was going left, right, up, down, left, right, over, down, up, down, lever. Like it had no direction. Like it was just doing whatever it wanted. Gotcha. above the cross. So they see this thing, and they're just sitting out, hanging, chilling, watching this thing, just shocked. Of course, it has no propulsion. They first think it's a helicopter because it's so low. It's right on the water, right above this thing. But then they see no rotor wash. In fact, they don't see any rotors. It's not a helicopter. It's something else. And plus, it's moving way too erratically for it to be anything.
Yeah, for laws of physics, for it to be anything that we know, there's no fucking way that's doing anything. Right.
No way. Right. Gotcha. Whoever would be inside would be scrambled eggs. Right.
Yeah. Scrambled eggs and wobbly legs. That's what I'm talking about.
I prefer my eggs fertilized in the morning.
Yeah, oh, nice, very nice, very nice. Okay, so and now was that just? It was just the one pilot and wingman, or both pilot and wingmen saw the same thing?
So you have a Wizzo, and what they were in, I should have explained that too. They're in an F-18 Super Hornet. So this thing's badass to the badass, right? Mm-hmm. They have a Wizzo in the back, and that's a weapons operating officer that sits rear seat. And so each one, so it's both, all four of these people are seeing this thing. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so what Commander Fravor says is he's like, I'm gonna go check this thing out. So how he does it is he starts making a circle pattern because he doesn't want to go too aggressive to get down to this thing. They're hovering they're at about 20,000 feet.
Okay.
So he wants to go down and check this thing out. So to check this thing out, he doesn't want to get too aggressive because the water is kind of set. He wants to kind of come in easy on this thing. So he does a circle pattern. As soon as he starts engaging this thing, right, the Tic Tac, he says the Tic Tac kind of like orients itself and like understands that something's there. Mm-hmm. And then starts to mirror him in his circle pattern as he's coming down, right? So now it's intelligently controlled because now it's mirroring you. It knows you're there.
Yeah.
He kind of watches this thing. It's kind of mirroring him. And he wants to basically like kind of screw with it. So he's like, quickest way to cut across the circle is just, or, cut across. He's like, you can go in a circle all day long and just pace each other. He's like, I'm going to cut across the circle. Yeah. He starts to make an aggressive cut across the circle. And that's when the thing like comes right at him. And basically within, as fast as you can blink, it's gone. It takes off. It's instantaneous propulsion. Disappeared. And the radar, and the people on the Princeton even said, it's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. We lost it.
We tracked it. But here's the craziest thing of all, and this kind of leads back to like what I would want to like maybe talk to you about when it comes to the tech of this stuff. Is that they went back to look for the cross in the water, and that was gone too. And then over the radio, the Princeton says, "Sir, you're not going to believe this, but that thing is at your cap point." It went to where they were going to do their workups in their war games. It knew where they were going to be. So it's just like, boop, boop, showed back up there. It kind of almost like you think, like, hey, I'm over here now.
Yeah.
And I knew where you were going too.
Yeah, almost in a chess match, you already knew what the other guy was going to do. You were one move ahead of him, or multiple moves ahead.
Exactly.
In that. Okay.
Exactly.
Anything else on that? Because now I want to jump forward to the more recent event. But does that kind of sum up that one?
That sums up David Fravor's encounter, but they also did get it on clear footage, and that was one of the three that came out, the big three, and it was called the Tic Tac, where they actually captured it. Now another F-18 went out and he said, "Hey, I'm going to capture that thing on camera," and they captured it. They caught it on their FLIR, and the thing like took off. Boom!
Yeah,
you see it clear as day. Maybe you've seen it, and they estimate maybe that was 20,000 from 0 to 20,000 miles an hour instantly, with like no visible propulsion.
Yeah,
none.
Okay, so obviously out there. 2004, which is almost 20 years ago now. That sounds fucking crazy. Obviously, we don't see anything like that in our own world. Let's jump ahead to the more recent event. Tell us about that one.
It was, I believe it was 2013, 2014. It was off the East Coast with Commander Ryan Graves.
Okay.
And what he said that they were encountering, and again, too, the military was they knew all about this stuff. They're like, yeah, it's out there. Just beware of it. And they would give out like bulletins that, hey, this stuff's out here. Just make sure that you beware. Don't hit it.
Yeah.
It really got serious when actually somebody did almost hit it. And they were doing workups out there. And I believe they were Super Hornets too. And he said that they started seeing more and more. They could actually see it with the radar on the Super Hornet at that time because they upgraded the radar on the Super Hornet. So now they're starting to see it.
Before it was just some guy in a warship saying, hey, so and so, you got this in your, again, I don't know what in your quadrants, in your, whatever it is. But now on the actual plane, you're saying, well, hey, we got this thing. I see it. It's around us. It's in our area. So now it's been updated. We've updated, and now we're kind of on a playing field with this a little bit better than we were before in 2004.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that's my understanding of it.
Okay.
I want to say he was saying this was 20 to 30,000 feet, what he was seeing. And some, it was many. I want to say he said it was over 50 guys have seen this stuff. And what they were seeing on the East Coast was fleets, not just one, not just two, fleets of them. And what they were clear beach balls with black cubes inside of them. And here's the thing, not so impressive, right? You're thinking clear beach ball, maybe you're thinking weather balloon, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, crosswinds at that time were 130 knots. 130 knots.
Yeah.
This thing, they said these things could stay stationary for days and not move.
Yeah.
Not move.
In that kind of atmosphere. And again, I don't think people really realize when you start getting up 1,000, 2,000, 20,000, the atmosphere is completely different than what we are used to down here on actual Earth. So it may seem very foreign to us. Like, well, what the fuck you mean? Like, it's just the sky. I see there's no wind today. Well, it's you go 20,000 feet, 30,000 feet, 40,000. It's completely different. So now we have these things in a very chaotic part of our atmosphere that are doing things that don't make sense scientifically. Fair to say?
Fair to say. Yeah,
Yep.
even they would say, no propulsion. No visible propulsion. How could they be doing this? And in one instance, they called it the gimbal. So they got all this stuff on the FLIR pods. It came out from the Pentagon, and it was New York Times that broke the story on it back in 2018, I think, is when it came out. One of these craft like pivots on it from this axis to like this axis, and they even say these pilots are reacting to this stuff. Like, look at that thing. It's rotating. They're actually seeing these things propel themselves. And one they call the go fast, where the thing's just zipping along right above the ocean, and then they're trying to lock onto this thing, and finally they lock onto it. And they're like, you hear these pilots, and they're super excited, like, woohoo, we got it, like, there it is, look at that thing. And they're just saying, they're shocked. They sound like little kids, but they're just shocked. It's like the first time you've probably seen an airplane. It's the first time seeing that stuff,
Okay. So now we have two very well documented times. All right. 2004, 2013. And people, kind of reference back to what you said is here's the best of the best. There's no reason for these guys to be just making up goofy fucking UFO stories and then multiple accounts. And everything is documented. These guys aren't just going up in these F-18s, whatever, and just, I'm just going to take it for a spin. Everything is documented and put down, recorded. Is this other technology from other countries? Is this out of this world technology? Is this, I don't know. I guess now, what is this technology that we're seeing? What is this? And we'll get back to why maybe the overcorrection of our government now shooting down weather balloons? Was this us trying to show whoever is flying these other crafts that we've talked about in 2004 to 2013, like, hey, we can fucking shoot you down, man. You better watch out. And we almost overcorrected to what we do know. There's a lot of loaded questions there. So what is the tech then that we're seeing? What is this? What is it?
Well, what the Pentagon officially came out and said, not of this earth.
Really?
Not of this earth. Now, think about that. When the Pentagon puts out something, they're very careful about the words they use.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not of this earth.
Okay.
And again, that kind of leads back to the interdimensional thing. Not of this earth. It's tech, not of this earth. That they're in possession of tech, not of this earth. This stuff.
We don't know who it is. Okay, let's say it could be it could be the Russian government that somehow grabbed some orb power source from a meteor. Okay, that's not from this earth, but it's the Russian government doing it. Or it could be something completely different. Am I on the right page there? Does that make sense? What I'm saying there?
Right. Yeah. It does. But doubtful. This isn't in any other human being's hands.
Gotcha.
Now, yeah, we I believe that we do have the tech in our hands. But as far as mastering the tech and reverse engineering it and using it, we're not there yet. And
that's what we haven't figured out. Okay. Anyone else?
And if you want to get into other stories too, you would talk about the Russians. The Russians, in one story, and this is the Bob Lazar story, him saying that the Russians were at S4 with the Americans working on this stuff until a huge breakthrough came through. Then they kicked the Ruskies out. And at that time, they were the communists. And we were working with them then. So, and then they booted them off and said, no, this is too good. Like,
that's a good way to make enemies right there, is once you find, that's like finding the stack of Playboys and telling your buddy to get the fuck out of there. You're keeping them all for yourself. Hey, no, these are my Playboys. You get out of here.
And if you got a penthouse, you were a god.
Oh, you were a god right there.
Oh.
The articles alone are worth that.
Crazy.
God, we're already pretty well into this, and I'm not even sure where to go on this. So here's a big question. And again, I am coming to you as just an everyman who has bills to pay and shit to take care of. And I'm not concerned about really what's going on in the sky. But if someone's going to come to me, or the government is going to come out and lay out this thing that says not of this world, why isn't this causing more mass pandemonium, mass worry and rebellion? Why are we freaking out about this?
Because honestly, Brock, here's my opinion: is Joe Public, we can handle it. They can't. The government can't. The government can't handle it. We can handle it. I think we're at that point now. Now, this is going to question a lot of people's religious beliefs and stuff too. What's really going to come out? It's going to question like our origins and where we came from. Maybe it'll kind of interlock. Maybe people will be like, okay, maybe this is like what the stories were about, and maybe that's how we'll find, real peace and, inner peace with ourselves. But it's not us. It's not us that they're worried about. It's themselves. They're worried about. And here, I want to really, really drive this home.
Yeah.
And really drive this home. The government, and we're talking like the people, like we're talking military industrial complex, even we're talking like some of these tech companies that may be in charge of this stuff. But the government, the military, they're scared shitless of this stuff. The reason why they're not shooting this stuff down, and they're like shooting down balloons and stuff.
Shooting down Dave's weather balloon, it's because they're actually scared of this.
And they know that this stuff isn't the real stuff. They know that. They know that an AIM-9 ain't gonna take this shit down. This stuff's way too advanced for that. Again, I made this comparison. Like, you're the big bad boy on the block, and you got all these people of the American public thinking that I got everything under control, and right? It's not the case. And if that got out, they would lose all their power. This stuff is the real power.
So, and again, I'm going to backtrack a little bit here. So we, as the American public, we could adapt, we could accept, we could adjust, whatever have you, to maybe finding out that there's something else out there, all right, that we are not privy to at this point. But people in power, people who have a lot of influence, a lot of money, a lot of life comforts because of the place that they're in, they're more scared of losing all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of in the right direction? It's almost like these people don't want, like the Mitch McConnells of the world, the fucking these guys that have a cushy, awesome, powerful job, you know, that is paid for and has been. I mean, I always look at Mitch McConnell, that goofy turtle looking motherfucker, right? Like she's Mitch McConnell. And again, this is not a red, blue, whatever. No, this is all politicians. I think what we can lock into, these people in power that love being in power and love the money and the prestige, whatever comes with it, they're more scared that they're going to fucking lose that spot if they start messing with this other stuff.
Yeah.
So they'll shoot down Dave's weather balloon to kind of make the American people think that they're doing something, or the world that they're doing something, but really deep down, there's a bigger, badder boy on the block that they're like, I don't want you. Just let us have what we have. We don't want to mess with it.
That's right. That's right. Think about that. I mean, if we figure out this tech, it's free energy for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a game changer. This whole thing is a game changer, and we can get into that maybe later too, about like what the tech is and what I think the tech is and what makes sense. But it's exactly what it is. These guys are shitless to this stuff. They're incompetent. You know, they can let's shoot down some balloons, and they do. And they can't touch this other stuff. You know, I want to make a comparison. Like, you know, there's a big bad boy that's on the block. He's the big bully, right?
Mm-hmm,
that's kind of. I mean, the older I get, that's kind of what the USA is. I mean, they go around pushing their weight around, you know, and we do.
We hit our growth spurt. We hit our growth spurt early on in grade school, right?
Yeah.
And so we hit our growth spurt, and now we were bigger and badder than everyone else. You look at World War I, World War II. We hit that growth spurt, but then everyone else kind of caught up with us, and so we're still kind of holding on to that. But now we're realizing that, we're not the biggest, baddest boy on the block. You know, we can't be taking people's lunch money anymore. Because there's other people that can, but we still hold on to that. And what we do is we still find the smaller kid or whoever that may be, rough them up a little bit, kind of build ourselves up. But deep down, we know though, like our time is numbered. Our days are numbered as far as being the biggest on the block.
Yeah. And two, you know, you're not taking care of your own family, right? You're the big bad boy on the block doing all these. But you're not taking care of your brother that's dying of fucking fentanyl overdoses and shit, right? He pieces of shit. Like, you're giving all this money to the Ukraine, all these corrupt people, dishing out billions of dollars, but yet your brother's dying over here of fentanyl overdoses. When in reality, like the dad of you, and it's not even the dad, it's like your God above you, is just looking at you like, you are so pathetic.
Yeah.
You know? Pathetic
But now that goes to the very first episode that we have. There's still something that we may have that's keeping us on right now, at least from them throwing their weight, or whoever them is, whoever that, what is. Because I was very intrigued by that when you said that we have something that they don't. So right now we're still able to kind of horse around, or at least still kind of poke the bear, because we haven't quite figured it out, but they haven't quite figured out us. Am I going too crazy with that?
Yeah, possibly. You know, I really got to like kind of stop and think about some of this stuff too. So because it kind of, it has to even flow with itself, right? And if you think about like what these things are and what they're doing, if we were to observe rats in a maze, right? How we do experiments on things, we try to be invisible to them so that they can we lay it out for them to play it out, right? So this is kind of like when you do an experiment, and again, maybe I'm thinking like a human, but if you do an experiment, that's how we would do it. And maybe that's how they would do it too. And they just decide to be kind of invisible.
I've always been that way, like with hidden camera or like not hidden camera shows, but whenever there's a camera brought in, people act differently. When you get a hidden camera show, you see the real people. If people don't know they're being watched or recorded, it's completely fucking different. It absolutely is. So that's a really good point, is maybe they are just trying to figure out that last little piece of us or whatever it is, or they're doing their little experiments behind without being seen, so they get the real us, or they figure out what they need to do to either beat us or I don't know, be a part, whatever it is. That's an interesting take. Like,
yeah, it Brock too. Like you kind of like you hit on a point there that makes me think too that once you're done with the experiment, what do you do with it?
You usually get rid of the lab rats is usually what it is. So yeah,
you throw it away.
Yeah,
you throw it away. And this has kind of been talked about too in some encounters that you want to talk about, like maybe later on, is that they do talk about this, like, this experiment is kind of at its end of its run, and maybe only certain amounts of us will be left to, like, I don't know,
start a new experiment,
to start a new Earth or something. Like, I mean, think about how many times there's been floods and we've almost been wiped out. Is this something that happens just all the time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mean, look back, go back to the Black Plague. Was that maybe a flushing of the system? All right, we'll let the strong survive. And
I would bet on more cataclysmic events like pole shifts and floods and things that hit the planet that wipe us out. I mean, basically, like wiped out all the megafauna, right? That was
biblical in a sense, almost, when you talk about Moses and the flood, the Pharaoh and the plagues that came through. Maybe there's something more to that on a bigger scale that was recorded in a way, a religious way, but still spoke the truth of what we have. And hell, you look at the and again, it's so hard to keep this in tight little, because we can just go off on tangents, but that might be another one too, is biblically there's a lot of descriptions in the Bible of what angels look like, and it's not the typical beautiful wings and halo and playing a fucking lute. It's different. And
or demons.
Or demons, exactly. Or demons. Look on the dark side of it, Okay, well, let's try. Let's bring this back in. And I'm super excited about all the different routes that we can take on this. Let's start from where we were. So, spy balloons, Chinese spy balloons. How dare you get above our airspace? Beautiful Montana, which great state, not knocking Montana, beautiful state. Let's shoot that fucker down. Let's flex some muscles. Let's flex some USA muscles. Lake Huron, the beautiful. They're right there. The world's strongest plumber going to come in, choke you out. But then we realize that it's Dave and Dale and Chris's weather balloon. But
might be a Carl in there.
Like I think they're for sure a Carl, a junior. He's a junior. He's a second in there. But let's not take away from the fact that there is stuff up there that the government has admitted to and goes deep into. Reliable sources have admitted to seeing, being a part of, that are up there. So what is the government doing? What are they hiding? If they're hiding something, is it pure incompetence? Is it, let's kind of maybe make the American people still believe in us because we've had to release some of these documents, and let's show them, or let's show the other world. Is every country building on this? Maybe China's worried. Maybe Russia's worried. The U.S. We're all in the same boat of something bigger that could possibly take all of us down. And now we're just trying to flex amongst each other to, I don't know, keep our sanity. I don't know.
Yeah, we're just flexing amongst each other. We're just being stupid. And it's just a distraction from the real stuff. And I'm kind of pissed about it too. Like, because I mean, nobody's taking like the real stuff seriously. And now it's just another, like, see, told you, it's like, no, you're just looking at the wrong stuff, idiot.
Yeah. It's a way to put a veneer on something. And you're right. And that's a lot of people. Oh, I knew it. And just, it wasn't aliens. It wasn't this. It's us just now kind of covering up once again what could possibly be out there. And that's orchestrated by the government. It's them covering their own asses on this, whatever it may be. This is just another thing. Because now what I'm going to do is me, the Joe Everyman, I'm going to just go about my big, it's just a fucking weather balloon. Back to paying my taxes, back to doing my bills, back to doing my 9 to 5, whatever it is, because it was just a weather balloon and I'm going to move on from it and not think about it.
Nothing to see here. Please disperse.
Yep.
You know, and in reality, they got this shit hidden. Like they've got stuff and they've got it hidden away and they're trying to reverse engineer it. You know?
And I'm sorry, that weak chin Mitch McConnell, he's not the guy I want fighting with me in the trenches against Outworld.
Oh my God.
Right? Come on now. Jesus Christ.
I mean, look at that guy.
Yeah.
The more, okay, dude, all you need to do is, we were watching this weekend. All you need to do is watch a Barrett Jackson auto auction. Okay. A Scottsdale, Arizona, down at Westworld, and just watch it. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Watch these guys bidding $300,000 on some piece of shit Bronco that ain't worth fucking $10. Like, you know, and they're dropping 300 grand, $1 million. Like, it's just nothing. One guy flipped a coin over $1 million car with another rich guy, because these guys that you think are like the elite and like, you know, the top of the top, they're not, dude. Money is just an amplifier. That's it. It just makes a fucking nerd a super nerd. And they're all fat, out of shape, old dudes throwing their money around. It's like, man, you guys are dorks. You know, and that's what's real power, dude. Like, these people in power, in charge of Washington, they're all fucking dorks. You know,
that's what
like,
it is.
if they came into a bar and we were hanging out, we'd be making fun of them. Like,
exactly.
It's all perspective, right? Like, but they got all the power and they run, you know, they run the world.
It's the money has the money has the power, and they are just there as a conduit, unfortunately. Because even if you look at like Jeff Bezos, all right, that guy's got more money. He's got fuck you money. He's got build my own penis rockets money. But when you really look at Jeff Bezos, he was a nerd that now he looks good now because he's got a personal chef and he can work out whenever he wants. That doesn't mean he's not a fucking nerd. You know what I mean?
Probably on some testosterone and all this other stuff, and probably HGH or what, you know what I mean? They're trying to like found abuse drug in it. And the same with Bill Gates too. Fucking dork.
You know a lot of these guys just remind me of like the dossier of the Epstein plane. Like, I don't know. I feel like all these guys are on there, which that's
the only way they can get laid is 16-year-old girls.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another one that I can't wait to dive into with you is all that. But that's what I kind of look at it. Like, Mitch McConnell kind of looks like a guy that would be on a private plane to an island with underage. You know what I mean? Because that's the only way. Yeah. That's the only way.
With a 14-year-old girl up next to him, like, can you like just creeped out by him, but have to do whatever they're told because they're like human trafficked children, you know?
And that's unfortunately what I think a lot of people in power, that's the level they're at. But of course, they put on their smiles, they cut some ribbons, they sign a few laws, or they pay for this, or they do that. I mean, we could go on and on forever. I know we started at spy balloons and we're really going on, but this is the kind of stuff I really want to dive into with this, because I think there's more to this, to every story in all of this and who's in charge with it. But interesting take. Is there anything we can jump off from this for next week, or should we find something? I feel like we got, go ahead. Yeah.
It would be the tech. So what the actual tech is, and what I think the best explanation ever to have been put out there, and I believe him 100%, is Bob Lazar. It's straight up Bob Lazar. And I'm going to tell you this. When I was a kid, and this is 89, 90, and that story broke, I remember watching that as a kid, as a 9-year-old, 10-year-old kid. And I was a skeptic. Like, this is what's weird, is I look at this UFO stuff, and I was like, I didn't want to believe it because I was like frightened of it.
No, for sure. Yeah.
And when I saw that interview with him back in 89, 90, I was like, that guy's not lying. Like, as a kid, you kind of know, right? You're kind of just like,
you're not jaded. You're not jaded to it, like most adults are. Yeah.
And to this day, he's the only one that I've really truly believed that, like, when he talks, it's just so nonchalant. And again, there's been body language people that have been, you know, that have watched him talking, like, this guy's not lying. Yeah. This is something that he's pulling from his memory. Yeah. And I think his story about the tech, that is what you really want to get into and figure out how this stuff operates and how it can do what it can do, and manipulate time.
Ooh, all right. Now that's it. Okay. Let's end on that. Perfect. So next episode, we've kind of now established, okay, there's more out there, not just fucking balloons. Okay. Now these were balloons, but that it could be something more of again, like we said, a veneer, a facade, a show of government, of power. But let's talk about then next week, the tech, how it can be used, what it should be used for. Are we capable of harnessing this tech? Bob Lazar will go into all that. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
I like your shirt, by the way. That's very nice. That's very nice.
I know. I take this seriously, and then I wear a shirt like this.
It's perfect. No,
I don't think it's a good conversation starter, right? Like,
it'd be better if it was Sasquatch getting sucked up into the UFO with Nessie in the background. That's what it needs to be right there. Yeah.
All right.
We get all three of them.
Right. That would. It'd be a trifecta. Be a hat trick.
All right. Well, everyone, make sure you join us next week. Shooting the Bull with Brock and Dwight, aka the world's strongest plumber. We are going to talk alien tech. All right. Sound good?
But next week I'm out of country.
You're out of country. So do we got to wait 2 weeks now?
It'd be 2 weeks.
That's going to get people excited about it. Where are you going?
Cool.
Out of
Costa
country?
Rica.
Oh, Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
They like you down there.
A lot of UFO. Yeah, they love big guys down there. A lot of UFO sightings down.
Oh,
down
perfect.
south.
Good. He's going to be up there like this. Watch it.
Laying on the beach, just waiting for him. But well, if they're going to do some butt stuff,
Oh, hey. Always down for that on vacation. Come on. Costa Rican butt stuff. You got it. That's the name of my my metal band, by the way. Costa Rican butt stuff. It's very good. Very good.
It's a death metal band.
Yeah, it's a death metal band called Costa Rican Butt Stuff. It's fantastic. Very good. Very good. Okay, well then 2 weeks from now, we'll put a pin in this and make sure you join us, and we'll have a lot of fun and discuss more on some alien tech, out of this world tech. I'll say out of this world tech. All right, everyone. Not of this world. So I can make sure right for the government so we don't get flagged. All right, we'll see everyone next time. Thanks for watching. This has been Shooting the Bull with Brock and Dwight. We'll see you next time.